of stuff. You
I
know
guess
what I
right
mean?
here I'm talking about violent crime and somebody using a gun to defend themselves. Like if someone gets their home broken into, the guy has a weapon,
Right.
should they use their fists?
I think so.
What's going on, everyone? James Klug here. So I recently asked you guys what topic you wanted to see me come out here and discuss with people, and a popular request is certainly the gun debate. So today, we're here in Laguna Beach, California. We're going to be asking people if we should keep the Second Amendment. Let's go talk to some people. Huge shout out to Patriot Mobile for sponsoring this video. Should we keep the Second Amendment? Your right to bear arms.
No.
No. Absolutely. Yes, we should keep it. You should have a right, but I think there needs to be limits.
Should we keep the Second Amendment?
Absolutely, yes. 100%.
Yeah, I think so.
Back then when George Washington was going to get his troops together, he said, bring your guns, fight the revolution. Those days are gone. We're not fighting a revolution anymore. We don't need to have guns.
I mean, they implemented the Second Amendment for self-defense. Is that just not a thing anymore?
I don't think so.
No, it's murder.
It's dangerous.
Get rid of it.
Get rid of it.
Why?
Because the world is already too chaotic.
How's it going, you guys? The world is too chaotic, so get rid of people's right to self-defense?
No. Why not use your hands? Why can't we use our hands?
Is that a realistic approach to this? Just use your hands?
Actually, neither is realistic. You know what I mean?
We have about 400 million guns in the United States. So if you were to say, hey, just use your hands, how are we going to get there?
Start with the military.
So disarm the military first. How do we go about removing the weapons, would you say? We have about 400 million guns in the United States today.
How did England do it?
Yeah, that's a good point.
How did China do it? But we can't do a search to search.
It's a small
Well, it
thing.
would have to be mandatory, though. So you'd have to
voluntarily come in and get checked off a list and said, I believe in this, I'll give it to you.
And if people resisted that,
They need to move somewhere else.
should we have it modified or no?
No.
Is your right to self-defense your right to self-defense?
Yeah, no, we're keeping it.
Just the way it is.
It's the American way.
Get rid of the machine guns, the automatic guns.
Yeah.
Automatic guns are,
I guess that would be
they're
a
not being sold
revolver.
new anymore. Are you more of referring to semi-automatic?
Yeah.
Which is,
AR-15s.
means we pulled the trigger once, one bullet fires, basically.
I think they should outlaw certain types of guns, that there's no need for them other than war. And
What guns do you want to get rid of?
I think semi-automatic weapons, but I have to say I'm not an expert on guns.
It's okay.
I've never been to a gun store. I don't know that many guns.
I think the Second Amendment is very important.
Yeah.
But I also think that the Founding Fathers didn't understand the technology that was going to happen.
You're saying that they weren't anticipating
they had
the
muskets.
modern weapon today.
They had
Well, they
muskets.
did have multiple shot weapons back then as well, like the Puckle Gun.
It was
That's correct.
muzzle loaders when that was written.
That's primarily what it was, but there was other guns that were multiple shot weapons as well. Nothing like an AR.
Where you're trying to lead this,
No,
we gotta go.
no,
we gotta go.
no,
we gotta go.
no, hang-
All right, you guys, let's take a quick moment to talk about today's sponsor. With the recent rulings from the Supreme Court, it's worth mentioning that these wins didn't happen on their own. It took money and the support of companies like Patriot Mobile, who have passionately fought on behalf of your constitutional rights. Patriot Mobile is America's only constitutional conservative mobile phone provider, and they have been on the front lines fighting for your values. This is why Patriot Mobile is different from every other provider out there. Inflation has made it really hard on many Americans. Thankfully, Patriot Mobile has plans for almost any budget, and they provide the same nationwide coverage as all the major carriers. Go to patriotmobile.com/Klug or call 972-PATRIOT. Use offer code Klug to get free activation. If you're a veteran or first responder, please let them know because they have special discounts just for you. Make the switch today. Go to patriotmobile.com/Klug. That's patriotmobile.com/Klug or call 972-PATRIOT. Let's get back into the video. Should we keep the Second Amendment?
Yes, I would say yes, but don't ask me why.
Okay, no problem. What do you think? You think yes or no?
I believe having gun should be somewhat limited, and then they're like not everybody can have it
Right.
very freely.
It's that way right now.
Right.
Keep it the same?
No.
People are bringing up banning semi-auto rifles. Do you agree with that or no? I know that we just said we don't agree with taking away anything, but what do you think?
AR-15s belong only in the hands of military.
Okay.
I don't think we need to have that massive amount of ability to shoot bullets over and over and over again.
So you want to keep the Second Amendment, but you want to take away some guns.
I don't want to take away some guns. I want to take away weapons. Weapons that don't belong in the hands of citizens.
Would you want to have them removed from people's households?
AR-15s? Absolutely.
I thought you just said you didn't want to take them away.
Yeah, guns, not weapons. There's a difference between guns and weapons.
What's the difference?
The difference is if you're going to use a gun in self-defense versus a weapon where you go out and you shoot people up, you know.
I mean, that's virtually every single gun that's being sold today is semi-auto, including most pistols. There's a lot of shotguns. Rifles are semi-auto, meaning, you know, pull the trigger once, fires one bullet. So, what would you like to see there?
They do them a lot faster than,
Yeah,
right?
you just need to have a limit on the magazines. That's all.
Okay, all right. So you would stick with your, hey, I'll settle at magazine capacity. Is that where you would settle, or would you keep going?
I want all those things. I want magazine
You want it
capacity.
all.
I don't want to have the AR-15s. I want to have good background checks, and I don't want to have magazines that can.
Well, we have background checks right now.
Yeah, but they're not.
They're FBI background checks. What would you like to see?
I'm more leaning toward like the regulations and the laws that they have in Europe.
Okay.
In terms of like if a person want to have a gun for hunting or something, that's okay.
The only issue is there's people that break the law. Who's going to follow the rules when it comes to give your guns away?
You know what it is?
Who's going to be the people to do that?
Trend. Somebody's got to start the trend. You feel me?
Are criminals going to be following along with that trend?
Everybody's a criminal. What about white collar? White collar's worse than the negative blue collar stuff. You
I
know
guess
what I
right
mean?
here I'm talking about violent crime and somebody using a gun to defend themselves. Like if someone gets their home broken into, the guy has a weapon, should they use their fists?
I think so.
Just in general, it sounds like maybe we're not that in favor of most the modern weapons today. Is that correct? If I were to guess.
I don't think that the average individual on the street needs to have a weapon of mass destruction.
If you're pointing to Europe, most European countries, I mean, you're virtually pointing to no guns. You're virtually pointing to banning guns. Is that not correct?
Yeah, I'm for that.
So not totally wanting to keep the Second Amendment necessarily. Going back to the first question.
Correct. Yeah.
Did you really preserve life if you hurt somebody else or took somebody else's life? You know what I mean? Even if it is self-defense. Self-defense is something you can argue in court, but somebody died or somebody got hurt. So it's still a negative, outcome.
It just in a general sense, it's a negative outcome if an aggressor gets injured while trying to go after maybe an old person or a woman.
If we lose life, we lose life, which is, like I said, it's a precious thing.
Should we keep the Second Amendment?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this video or is this?
It's a cassette tape.
Yeah.
We're running across people that are saying no, or maybe they want limitations to it. Do you want any limitations to the Second Amendment?
Absolutely not. I mean, the Constitution was made by some genius politicians, some genius people, so it should stay the way it is.
Do you think it's outdated at all?
Absolutely not. And because power constantly corrupts. I mean, I believe our constitutional rights were created for a reason, to maintain our individuality. The government power will always corrupt. And so I believe it's always something that we should have in place to protect against that in and of itself.
Is that ever going to be outdated in your opinion?
No. Because the Second Amendment, it's the right to bear arms to protect yourself against the government, right?
Mm-hmm.
So against the government abuse, eventually. So, no, it should stay in place.
I want to be able to defend my family. I mean, if a cop's not there, who else is going to do it?
You're from Serbia?
Yeah.
Do you guys have a Second Amendment in Serbia?
I don't know what Second Amendment, but...
Like right to own firearms?
Yeah, if you don't have like a criminal record, you can get a weapon, but...
Yeah.
Why would you need it?
Self-defense?
From who?
People breaking the law.
There's police for that.
Well, like they say, when seconds count, the police are just minutes away, right?
I disagree with that.
Why do you disagree with that?
Yeah, weapons just make like people be harmful to others. You don't need to be like that.
They make people harmful to others?
Yeah, why?
It's an inanimate object.
Originally, I'm French.
And then you became an American.
I became American, and I've been
Are you
in the
voting?
US.
Are you voting against politicians that want to preserve the Second Amendment?
I mean, honestly, again, I don't know the exact term of the Second Amendment.
Would you want to ban rifles?
But I want to ban automatic weaponry. I'm okay with people having a...
We've already banned automatic weapons. You can't buy them new in the United States anymore.
It almost sounds like a beauty pageant, but I just would like it to be more peace in the world. And peace means put down the weapons. Look at how beautiful this is. Nobody's out here being violent. So why can't the world be like this?
Is nobody out here being violent because there's rule of law and a police department that keeps everyone in check?
Yeah, I don't believe in the police. I believe that...
So no police either?
Nothing, I'm telling you. In some of the Jewish neighborhoods, they police themselves. They're not riding around with guns. There's more like, community outreach kind of a thing.
I mean, if a crime is committed, police still show up.
Yeah.
I'm okay with all the hunting and all of that. So basically, you can have a gun, with two bullets, and so you go hunting. I'm fine with that.
2 bullets?
Yeah.
That's like maybe like a shotgun or something with 2 rounds?
Yeah.
Someone breaks into someone's home.
Yeah.
Right? And you have to defend yourself with a gun that has 2 rounds?
That's largely enough. That's largely enough.
What if you run out of 2 rounds because you miss those 2 shots? You'd be like an expert at shooting?
It will never end,
Like realistically, let's be honest, would criminals follow along with that? Or would you support disarming law-abiding citizens, like by force? Would you support that?
No, I wouldn't.
What do you want to do with all the people that have guns that are semi-auto, that are, rifles, pistols, etc.?
Turn them in. Some countries started to do that. I think Australia, started to do that.
Australia's gun buyback was only 1/3 effective, and today they have more guns in their country than they did back then. Yeah. I understand the desire to have no guns, but is that realistic? We have 400 million guns in the United States. We have tens of millions of semi-automatic weapons in the United States. So what are you going to do with them? You said voluntarily turn them in. Okay, what about the people that don't voluntarily turn them in?
Well, it will take maybe a generation, 2 generations.
For what?
To have people having no gun.
Like 2 generations and 400 million guns are gone?
Yeah.
And I do believe that right now there is a current power grab for our government. There always has been. There's 2 philosophies. Conservatives tend to believe that you need to be a little more self-ruling, self-governing, autonomous. And liberals tend to really want more government input. They want their say in everything. I don't think it's outdated at all. I think humanity and human nature continue to stay the same. We don't change. Government
shift very much.
May change, but human nature does not.
It's to resist tyrannical rule.
Okay, I remember that. But that was
Is that important?
The 1700s or the 1800s when things were much different.
Does tyrannical rule, would you say that's not a thing anymore?
Absolutely. Look at Russia. That's happening right now. We just had...
So are you contradicting your last statement that you just made then?
No, pretty much what I want is one thing. But like you said, it's unrealistic.
So people are using a gun defensively every single year between 500,000 to 3 million times per year. What about those people?
They can defend themselves, differently. They are using that, to defend themselves.
Do you think they should use something else, like hands and fists?
Yeah. Even
what if it's a woman defending herself against a man like you?
But I mean, look at the European country. They don't have guns as we have, here in the U.S.
They don't have what?
They don't have guns as we have here in the U.S.
Right. We're not even at the top when it comes to, like, let's say mass shootings using a weapon.
But it's everything.
We rank in the Western world. We rank 11th. In fact, you're from France. France is actually ahead of us when it comes to mass shooting deaths per capita.
No.
Yes.
No.
Do you want me to show you the evidence of that?
Yes, send me the report, on that. So I would be really curious to know.
Here, I'll show you. It's from World Population Review right here. Keep in mind, these countries that you're talking about, these are way bigger countries. They're way smaller countries than the U.S. You're saying it doesn't happen very often, but we have 330 million people in the United States. That's about nearly half the entirety of Europe. That's a breakdown per capita. Obviously, we want to be limiting these deaths. Now, let me...
That's bad, yeah.
Well, you look at like Ukraine. They have people over there. They're happy they have guns still in their place, right? So they can help defend their country or their family or whatever. But here, people think, oh, you don't need a gun to defend yourself. But it could be. It's never that far off.
A law-abiding citizen that has a gun, I don't think is any threat to anyone. If they want to do something, they can try to pull the guns off the street. But punishing people that are law-abiding that want to own a gun is ridiculous.
It's the perfect
you're
argument.
You're talking about law-abiding citizens abiding by these rules.
Yeah, but
the criminals do not follow rules.
The point is that it's okay. So if I follow your argument, so it's the perfect setting to have an escalation, right? At some point, you need to stop that. You don't want to have people fighting to each other, but you need to set the stage. You need to lead by example. And
why can't we let someone else lead by example and disarm themselves, and then they get destroyed in war?
So that's
let them do that. Should we keep the Second Amendment?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
It was right after the freedom of speech, and so it's pretty important that we keep that.
I don't believe taking away everybody's weapons is going to be something that's going to come out to a positive outcome. It's going to be something that's actually terrible.
Whether you keep it or not, criminals are going to have guns, and defenseless citizens won't.
You need to get harsh with criminals.
I
This bail,
think so.
this no bail crap.
It's terrible.
It's ridiculous.
It's terrible. People,
You know what I mean?
we need to protect our society from people who do harm.
You could create, or you could allow to develop a tyrannical government, and you wouldn't have any means of defense against it. And that's why we have the Second Amendment, to prevent the government from becoming tyrannical and ruling over us without limitations.
All right, everyone, that is it for today. So we came across a lot of people that said that they want to keep the Second Amendment, but they want to ban virtually all weapons. So let me know what you guys think about that in the comment section below. And if you guys enjoyed this video, please hit that like button, make sure to subscribe for more videos, and hit that bell notification button so you're notified next time we post. See you next time.